At this point, may we request the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Spain to the Philippines, His Excellency Miguel Otray Delgado, for his message.
His Excellency President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Force of the Philippines, Honorable Carlito Galvez Jr., Secretary of National Defense, General Andres Centino, Commander General of the Armed Force of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Stephen Parreño, Commanding General Philippine Air Force, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Philippine Air Force and other branches of the Armed Force of the Philippines, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon, buenas tardes. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you, Mr. President. Last week was the centenary of the creation of CASA, which has been the standard bearer of the aeronautical industry in Spain, and thanks to which we have here today the C295. The C stands for CASA. So it is a pleasant coincidence with the delivery of this 7th aircraft for the Philippines. In my speech a few months ago, I already commented on Spain's commitment to transfer industrial capabilities and technology to the Philippines. Bearing in mind that today we are at Clark Base, I am aware that discussions are underway to establish MRO capabilities for the C295 fleet. This is a good news that will allow the Philippines to be self-sufficient and not have to send its aircraft to third countries. I hope to be here again in the future at the delivery of more aircraft in another of its multiple configurations, such as maritime patrol or anti-submarine operations, and to be able to see how the C295 are maintained here. Also, in my previous speech, I spoke about the A400M, which, by the way, I know had a recent demonstration flight in the Philippines. I mentioned how relevant the technology transfer with the Philippines could be, not only in the aeronautical sector, but also in the space sector, where we see how the recently created Philippine Space Agency is progressing by leaps and bounds. Taking advantage of the presence of the Secretary of Defense, I again express our wish for the successful conclusion of the implementing agreement concerning the procurement of defense equipment, which would develop our current defense cooperation agreement. To finish with, let me share with you that the 3rd edition for the International Defense and Security Exhibition will be held in Madrid during the 3rd week of the next May. This fair is included in the World Calendar of Defense Fair and is considered a reference event at European level. During the last edition, the Philippines has been well represented by 5 different delegations from the Department of National Defense, the Air Force of the Philippines, and all the services. The invitation has been sent to the Department of National Defense, the Armed Force of the Philippines, and would be a good opportunity to get to know firsthand the capabilities of the Spanish defense and security industry in a period when your transformation process is key on updating AFP capabilities. Maraming salamat, muchas gracias.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated.
At this juncture, may we request the Officer in Charge, Department of National Defense, Senior Undersecretary Carlito Galvez Jr., to introduce our guest of honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Thank you to our Senior Defense Undersecretary, Charlie Galvez. Please take your seats. His Excellency Miguel Utray Delgado, the Ambassador of Spain to the Philippines, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Andy Centino, the Commanding General of the Air Force, Lieutenant General Stephen Pareño, the officers, men and women of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, my colleagues in government, our partners in the Airbus Defense and Space, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Since the enactment of Republic Act number 10349, or the revised AFP modernization program, we have seen the realization of various projects and the acquisition of more modern equipment to fortify our country's defense systems. Today, I am glad to be with you as we bear witness to the ceremonial turnover and blessing of the C295 medium-lift aircraft and the demonstration of the flight capabilities of the FA-50PH. Let me convey my congratulations and the gratitude to the Philippine Air Force for its successful acquisition of 3 C295 medium-lift aircraft since last year. This attests to the progress of our nation in upgrading our defense capabilities. Allow me, of course, to thank the government of Spain for assisting our Air Force in this acquisition and consequently bolstering the defense posture of our country. This is one of the many meaningful outcomes of the long-standing relationship between our two countries. Our country's archipelagic nature and geostrategic location is both a blessing and a challenge. As much as our maritime environment provides us with much-needed resources, it also requires us to constantly adapt to become more mobile and agile. To this end, our FA-50 fighter jets shall improve our maritime patrol capability, aid our Air Force in monitoring the developments within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, and provide close air support to our combat troops. The country is also challenged by various climate-related hazards, which can potentially paralyze government and business operations. In these moments, the AFP is called on to do more. Through the additional C295 aircraft, the AFP will be able to provide more responsive support to government agencies, especially in emergency situations, and on humanitarian assistance and disaster response operations. While this equipment will boost the readiness of our Air Force to respond to any contingency, there is still a need to further improve our capabilities to effectively cover our territory. Equally important is to ensure the airworthiness of Air Force assets and the corresponding training of crew and personnel to guarantee the safety of all. Hence, it is this administration's will to remain steadfast in pursuing our modernization efforts. As we accept and bless this new C295 medium airlift, may your passion to defend the country and to serve the Filipino people deepen as we strive to maintain the peace that we have fought so hard to achieve. And also with the demonstration of the flight capability of the FA-50, we can all look forward to the greater heights of the Philippines that the Philippines will reach in the years to come. Once again, congratulations, maraming salamat, at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you, sir, for that very inspiring message. Please be seated. We shall now proceed to the presentation of memento. May we request our guests of honor to please stand for the presentation. The miniature Airbus C295 aircraft is presented to His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of the Philippines, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Philippine Air Force is grateful for having an all-weather certified aircraft platform capable of performing variety of flight missions. Given this 7th day of March at the Haribon Hangar, Clark Air Base, Mabalacat City, Pampanga. Signed, Lieutenant General Stephen P. Paredes, F., Commanding General, Philippine Air Force.
Thank you, sirs. You may now be seated.
Thank you, Mr. President, for gracing our event today. That concludes our program.
May we request everyone to remain seated until the President has left the program venue. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.